All right, everyone. Welcome to the TechSales Funnels Podcast. This is Dayvisson. Actually, I saw it's misspelled right now, the podcast, but we can fix that later. Today, we're bringing Chris Duvall. He's the founder of TechSales Mentors, and he's doing an awesome job of helping people transition to tech sales. And I thought it would be really awesome to bring him in to the show. He's going to give tips and strategies and ideas of how you can transition to tech sales as well. But most importantly, he's going to talk about his story, how he transitioned to tech sales, how that changed his life, and that's what we want to achieve here in this conversation today. So I'm going to bring him in right now. Here we go. Hello, welcome, Chris. How are you, man?
Hey, Dayvisson, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Super excited to have you joining here today. I'm super active on LinkedIn, and I have seen you making all those posts about helping people transition to tech sales, and sometimes you're walking with your little one on the streets and your wife, and I feel like that's super cool that you're building your business and have your family. I think that's the most important thing that you can totally do. So you inspired me, and as I'm trying to build this community of you know eventually tech sellers and future tech sellers or people who wants to transition to tech sales. I'm super grateful that you made the time today to talk with me. Can you just give a quick introduction, tell a little bit about yourself and what do you do now?
Absolutely. So I'm Chris Duvall. I'm the co-founder of TechSales Mentors, where we've helped over 100 people get hired at the very best tech sales companies in the world as BDRs and SDRs. I have a background in tech sales myself. I started out in sales, actually, for in mortgage sales, loan sales for a company called Churchill Mortgage. And I realized that technology was disrupting the world. Very famous post by Mark Andreessen where he says software is eating the world. And I realized that I wanted to be a disruptor and not get disrupted. So I made the transition to Dell Technologies, where I met my wife, actually, got married to her. And then from there, over the course of 3 years, I went from making $60K to $220,000 a year as an enterprise salesperson, enterprise account executive with HubSpot. And now we have helped over 100 other people make a similar transition into tech sales or from a tech sales company to the very best tech sales companies in the world.
That's really really cool. And in 1 minute, right there, you summarize your whole kind of a career in tech sales, which I love to dive deeper in understanding the biggest goal of this podcast is to inspire people to do the same thing you did, right? You went from basically no experience to all the way to uh, multiple six figures of a career. The biggest question here: how did you hack into tech sales? You mentioned that you were in sort of a sale and then you transitioned to tech sales. How did you make the transition? Can you explain a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing that I did was I was a data analyst after I graduated from college with UBS, which is like a financial services company. And my friends were really impressed that I like wore a suit and I worked downtown Nashville on like one of the top floors of this skyscraper every day. Um, and I hated my job and I sucked at it. And I was on the fast track to getting fired. And so I talked to my parents, and this was after 2 years of doing it. And they said, why are you doing this? Go work in sales. You like to talk to people. And so the first thing I did was I transitioned from something else into the sales industry. And so if you want to pursue a career in tech sales just for all the money and to work remotely, you're going to have more trouble doing it. It's going to be harder. But if you authentically like talking with people or listening to people, interacting with people in sales, then you're going to have a much easier time transitioning. And so I took that baby step of moving from another industry into sales when I became a loan officer. Now you can jump straight into tech sales. You can do it if you're a recent college graduate, or if you're willing to work hybrid or in person in a tech hub, one of the 6 or 7 major cities in the US where there's technology happening. But if you don't want to do that stuff, then probably what you need to do is go get at least 6 months of experience carrying a quota, getting paid commission. And there's tons of great sales jobs. Some of them are even making 6 figures automatically where you can do that, like car sales or something like that. But once you have that sales experience, it's a lot easier to jump from sales into tech sales, which is what I did when I transitioned from being a loan officer, where I was carrying a commission, I was paid on commission, I had a quota, into tech sales for Dell Technologies. And another big piece there was that I was willing to have the humility to take a step back in my career and make less every time I made this jump. So from being a data analyst into being a loan officer, I had to take a financial step back, even though I eventually started making more. And then from being a loan officer to getting into tech, I also had to take a step back financially, even though, again, very quickly within 3 years, I was making from $60K to $220,000 by switching these industries. A lot of people think golden handcuffs start when you're making $1 million a year. For most people, it starts when you're making like $60,000 or $50,000 a year.
Wow. So you can see that Chris is an expert. Like he broke down seriously, he broke down all the ways that you can transition. He mentioned something else very, very important that I wanna take back and we're gonna peel a little bit more. He went to his parents, which quote unquote, right? Basically are his life mentors. I don't know. I'm just guessing here, one of his, mentors, and then took someone to look at him and see, hey, why are you doing this? Why you don't transition? You have the skills, which is first, you like talking with people, and
Yep.
that's very foundational, right, for sales. And then he took the leap of faith, right? He was like, yeah, why not? Let me, and he was strategic about it. He was like, well, let me transition to something that I can do now. And then it was on the mortgage industry, right? Um, and then from I think, okay, so that's when he got his first tech sales job. Now the question is, how did you hack into the first tech sales opportunity, right? How the transition happened? You got all the experience in the what is it, mortgage industry,
Loan sales, yeah, mortgage industry.
which I think I know a couple of friends that they do that. So if you're listening to this right now, if you're not, I know a lot of people are struggling on that industry, and especially the last few years not selling homes and all that. So if you're listening to this, you have skills that you can totally do tech sales.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how did you get your very very first job in tech sales? Like what happened? It was like, did you saw that online? It was a recommendation. Did you had a friend? Like, give us a little bit more background on that one. How did you hack into?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I lost a couple loans to a company, another mortgage company that was using technology to offer lower rates. And that's
Mm,
when I realized I'm a genius. I realized tech sales is
mm,
software is going to replace all these industries. And I
mm,
like typed that in on Google or something. And that's when I found this article by Mark Andreessen, who had the same realization 20 years before I did. It's you should go read it. It's a very famous article, and it will take you like maybe 1 to 2 minutes. It's called, for everybody out there, it's called "Software is Eating the World," and I'm sure Dayvisson has read it. It is one of the most famous blog posts of all time. So Mark Andreessen writes about how software is eating all these industries, and whatever industry you're in, it's being impacted by software. So it's much better to be on the side that's impacting things than being impacted. So the first thing that happened is I internalized, I
mm,
understood, I agreed with this concept that software is going to eat the world, technology is going to eat the world. And I said to myself, I committed to making the leap. So that's mindset, internal. These things have to happen before anything external can happen. So I made the commitment to making the leap. Then the next thing I did is I wasted 9 months. So the way that I wasted 9 months is I said, I have this sales experience. I'm a great salesperson. I deserve to go straight into being an account executive. And I
uh,
tried to do that for, I think, 6 to 9 months. And these hiring managers, they really liked me. And they would take me into the last stage of the hiring process, of the
okay.
interview process, a lot. And then they would reject me and they would say, like, hey, we went with somebody with more experience, somebody who's a better fit. And what I realized eventually, after I got hit in the head enough times of this experience happening, was no, I'm going to have to swallow my pride and take a step back and take a starter position. At this
Mm,
point, I'm something like 4 years out of college. And so I felt like I had wasted those 4 years to take a starter position in tech sales. Now, at that time, that was called an account manager position. Those are a little bit more legacy. You'll still see those at more older companies like Dell or Oracle or Microsoft. But
Big.
most new software companies typically they often they don't have sales roles that are account manager roles. Instead, a starter position in a sales role for a newer software company, as Dayvisson knows, is a BDR or an SDR. But at the time, I started as an account manager. But then very quickly, because of those skills I had gained from selling previously, because I was a little bit more experienced than some of my peers, I was able to work myself into a much better sales position. But the first thing I had to do was be willing to be humble, to humble myself and take a risk. And again, break those golden handcuffs. I wasn't making that much money, but I had to like take a step back financially again and take this risk of stepping into this new sales role, which any sales role, you don't perform well enough, you can get pipped out and laid off. So mindsets and being willing to take the step back came first.
No, I love that. And so he read an article, got educated about the possibilities, saw the vision, and just jumped right in. And I don't. Wow, what you just, yeah, I just got even distracted with all the things you're saying. I was trying to follow. Uh, Amazing experience. Humble yourself, right? Sometimes a lot of people they do have sales experience and they feel like they should be like a tech sales manager. No, like it's
Yeah.
a it's something that I noticed too, especially
Mm-hmm.
big organizations because I worked only for IBM and Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
What they call the entry level, it's actually like some sort of high level because you can get paid as much money as an account executive in a startup, for example. I'm just giving an example, and it's very horizontal. Like, yes, people can be an account executive, but on those big organizations, it's not like a progression as clear as on the smaller organizations where you are an SDR and then you're account executive and then you're making more and all that. Specialists and SDRs and account executives in a company like Microsoft, they can be making almost the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how they work together to bring this big deal and opportunity. And anyways, we can dive deep into the whole sales structure, but be willing to start from scratch or to start from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, right? To be an SDR and BDR because
Yeah.
if you have the experience like Chris said, you're gonna just launch. And if you don't have
Mm-hmm.
the experience, you get the experience so you can naturally progress. And it's and a lot of people stay away from tech sales because of how they don't want to step back, right? You probably see that all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sure you do. And like you're seeing your friends, and it can be like difficult because you want good things for them and you're seeing their industries be disrupted, but they're not willing to even like take a $10,000 step back for a year or two in order to unlock another 60, 80, $100,000 in like as little as 2 years. But people, this is just life. Like people have to do internal work. They have to be willing and ready to make the change to better themselves before anybody else can help them.
Yeah, and let's talk about disruption. This industry of tech sales, let's just say, I would say the creation of the cloud and all those SaaS solutions, and it's like no longer than 25 years ago, like
Yeah.
right 20,
Yeah.
and all the opportunities, right? Just
Mhm.
all the opportunities, all those a lot of even the colleges are not even some colleges teach about that sales, but
Nobody's teaching it. Yeah, the most advanced stuff that colleges are teaching is like Oracle or IBM, which are not second or third wave software companies. No.
yeah, which is can be extremely hard to get into those companies right out of college. They do have some very niche like training programs for undergrad and early career stages, but they're like minimal, right? So people might limit themselves to 1% of the opportunities on the
Yeah.
market.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And so, what would you say to people who are like don't even heard of this industry, like don't even knew they existed? Like a lot of people. I'll give an example. I went to a tech sales conference the other day, and it was to help people get reemployed in the tech sales industry. No, sorry, not
Mhm.
tech sales industry, in the tech industry.
Mhm.
They had like 10 recruiters, and they had a bunch of tables, and everyone was hiring for IT manager, for software developer, all those things. I was like, where is the tech sales people here? There's nobody was hiring for tech sales. I was like, who is selling all this technology that you guys are trying to fix and improve?
Yeah.
No, nobody's even the recruiting. I mean, side of this whole conversation, not even concentrating in hiring those tech sellers. Literally, people are having to find you on LinkedIn. People like you who are pushing content, who are like explaining the details uh, to how to get into this whole industry. Do you have any thoughts about how this is so new, and what do you think about the future, like the demands and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like I have so many thoughts. You know, there are problems with our organizations with keeping up with the state of innovation, and there are the pessimistic way to one of the pessimistic ways to say this is like, man, our institutions are really crumbling. Another way to say this is like, isn't it incredible how fast innovation and development is happening? That's amazing that so many new and great things are happening so quickly. But the end result is the same, which is like it's very much in people's hands to educate themselves and to figure out there are incredible opportunities out there. People are not going to hand them to you. Very much, it used to be the case. Like if you went to college and graduated, you were going to get a job, and then you could keep that job for 40 years, and you would get a golden stopwatch with your retirement. That's your parents or your grandparents. But much more today, you have to educate yourself. You may not even need to go to college. You have to figure out how to seize your own future, how to be successful yourself. So one thing that I would advise people, I think that there are a lot of shady actors in this industry that
Mhm.
are looking to make a quick buck. And a great way to differentiate someone's motives, to figure out what somebody's motives are, is to look at, are they aligning their pay with your result? So something that we do at Tech Sales Mentors, we make over 95% of our pay only when our candidate signs a job offer with the tech sales company that they love. And so their result is aligned with our success. In terms of educating yourself, like YouTube is this incredible thing. So, for example, Tech Sales Mentors, we have a tech sales certification that you can do on YouTube, and it's free. So you can just Google Tech Sales Mentors certification. We have a course that teaches you about the tech sales companies, about what the day to day of an SDR or BDR is like, and that's free. So that's entry level. So there are companies that charge you $500 or $1,000 to learn what you're doing in the job. I would say you don't need that, and it's not helpful. You don't need a certification on your LinkedIn. What you need is a result. You need job offers, and so those are the things that I would tell people to spend money on is results, not just education. Find the free education, but be very. I think it's one of the best things that people can do with their money is pay for a result. If you can de-stress your life with money, you should do it. My wife and I spent like $3,000 on an 8 sleep bed topper. It like tops our mattress, and it helps us sleep like 1% better every night. I've never spent better money. If you can spend two or three thousand
Yeah.
dollars and sleep 1% better a night, like spending money on results is a good deal. So that's how I would think about that. Dayvisson, I don't know. Did I get too off track?
No, no, no. That's good because the purpose of this podcast is exactly that, to give people insights, ideas. How can you break in, right? How can you? Because a lot of times people are like, well, I don't know where to start, or oh, this is not for me, or maybe too hard, or I'm not too technical, none of that. In fact, this whole technical thing we talk
Yeah,
about sales, it just throws people off because the technology, the organization is going to cheat you. They don't expect you. Some, of course, if you already have a couple of certifications, let's say if you will go for Salesforce, or if you want to go for Microsoft or whatever, if you already have some knowledge, it's going to help, right? But they're going to train you, they're going to teach you, they're going to give you
yeah,
opportunities to learn and all that. Which
yeah,
brings me to another point, like how easy it is to learn, the actual technology, because every organization sells something different, and do they really need to know that technology, or is this more the sales? Like, what do you think is the percentage of people who are scared about, I'm going to be selling technology? Personally, I have my opinion, but how do you think that divides in between tech skills and then sales skills and all that?
Well, I wouldn't say it's not zero. Like, I wouldn't say you need zero education about technology at all. Um, but it is way more common for people to think that you need significant IT and education training than it is for people to like, and be way overestimating this than it is for people to like understand the proper level, which is like, you should be like, relatively or fairly competent with your ability to like use a computer and things like that. But you don't need to be spending like 6 months getting like certified to prepare yourself to apply for jobs, or like taking 6 months of courses. Like, that's just really a waste of your time and your life. Like, you mentioned, Davison, like, hey, if you're going to go apply for a job with Salesforce, it may be good to get like a Salesforce certification, or like the same for Microsoft or Oracle or IBM. And that's true, and it's free on all those companies' websites, and it should take you like a weekend. It should take you like 2 to 3 days to get one of those basic certifications for free. And so, like, I wouldn't say go get a college course or a college degree in it. These companies, these managers or recruiters, they do not look favorably on it. They either want to see that you've done it in a past role, or that you've like gained relevant experience. So, like, much more valuable if you want to break into tech sales is to go sell something like door to door or phone sales or car sales for 6 months than it is to go spend 6 months getting certified. Um,
Yeah.
so actual real world experience is 100 times more valuable than a certification. If you're gonna get a certification, you should do it like over like 2 or 3 days. That's how long it should take you. You should probably not have to pay anybody for any kind of certification. Is generally what I would say. But like, your tech experience can't be zero. Sometimes I meet people and they don't know how to turn their camera on and they're not willing to learn. And like, that's too low. But the last thing I'll say is like, almost like just about 100% of these companies, when they hire you, they will ramp you, and you will spend like 3 months learning that specific company's IT stack and how to sell it. So the companies have training programs.
Yep, 100%. And you mentioned you placed over 100 people and all that, so you kind of have an idea. You probably jump on a call with people to do some sort of discovery, and you kind of have an idea already. Okay, this person from 0 to 10, he's like probably number 2, or this one's like number 8.
Yeah.
Have you ever had someone that was like number 0, and you're like, hey, you know what? You should probably do something else because you're totally missing. Is that such a thing? Or like, I was just thinking about.
Yeah, it happens a lot. We actually we only accept 10% of the people that apply with us, because not only do we not get paid when we onboard somebody, we actually spend thousands of dollars on each candidate before they accept a job offer. So we are the definition of skin in the game. So we reject 9 out of 10 applicants. Some of those reasons that we accept them, maybe it's like they have unrealistic expectations. Like, if they want, like, I had somebody yesterday tell me, I want to make a base salary of $110,000. Well, I just can't do that for a BDR SDR starter role. That's too high of a base that they're expecting. So sometimes it's unrealistic expectations. Sometimes the people don't have any sales experience. They're not a recent college graduate, and they're not willing to move to like work hybrid or in person in a tech hub. It's like, I need one of those three. So we need something to work with generally. Or some of the other reasons are like their communication skills are really bad. Like, unfortunately, there are some people who simply do not have the communication skills for a sales role. Most people really do, but there are some examples of people that their communication skills are so bad that it's not fixable. And those people, it sucks, but like, I'm just honest with them, like, hey, this is not fixable. You need to go do something else. And then maybe the final category is people that like think that they can day trade or like do some other job, or like they can watch their 4-month-old kid at the same time that they do this job, or they think that it's going to be like super easy. Like, sales is this incredible opportunity to achieve the American dream. It's also like 40 to 50 hours a week of like hard, solid work. It's not 100 hours like being a doctor or working on Wall Street, but you need to like be focused and committed and high energy, and like you need to work hard to be successful or you're going to be let go. And so if somebody thinks that they can like backpack around Europe with their girlfriend at the same time that they're doing their first tech sales job, probably not the most realistic. Now, if they're in like year 5 and they want to like, they're working remote, they're in year 3 or 4 and they're working remote and they're working hard and they're good at their job, then yeah, you can go be in Europe for 3 months, but you're still working from 9 to 5 every day. You maybe just be exploring after work. So there is some nuance to this.
No, yeah, I like the what you said. At the end of the day, it sells, and it's not like it requires work, right? It requires dedication. It
Yeah.
requires that pace of consistent, being prospecting and building relationships and all that. It's not like, hey, this tech sales, I made it, and now I'm just gonna cruise,
Yeah.
hit my quota. It doesn't happen that way. Love it because we don't want to also paint the wrong picture, right? It's a
Yeah.
great career. I highly recommend 100%. And I know there's all those stereotypes about tech sales layoffs and all that. Of course, because every industry has its own challenges. Still highly recommend, but at the end of the day, you have to do your work.
Mhm.
Is that any? Do you feel like is there any profession? Let's say someone's trying to transition.
Well, actually,
Um,
hey, right there, like Davison, like,
Go ahead.
hasn't
Yeah.
it changed your life? Like, did you?
Oh yeah,
I think we were talking. Did you say you're a first generation immigrant?
100%. Yeah. So first generation immigrant. I've done all sorts of jobs. In fact, right after my MBA, I tried to open my own business, and then I transitioned to financial industry. So I was selling financial products, which I loved. Very ups and downs, and it took me a while to build that financial cushion. And I was like, I should just find a corporate job. And then that's when I transitioned to IBM and transitioned to tech sales, and that completely kind of changed my life. I was able to bring that stability to my family, and I was able to perform well and do great things between IBM and Microsoft. And that's one of the reasons why I'm like, hey guys, you guys are missing, thinking about the people who graduated from college at the same time as me, or which tech sales were not even there at that time. I'm that
Yeah.
old. But even during my MBA, right? A lot of people are still struggling and doing different things. And then I'm like, hey, might as well give it a try. So it did change. To answer your question,
Yeah. Are
less
you are you are you living in a 1 bedroom apartment right now?
No, in fact, I bought my house just because of text. I'll credit textiles to pay off all my debt and things that I had, and bought a home. And I'm here on my shed right now. I just built this little office in my backyard.
So
That's
you
where
were
I'm
able
working.
to afford to build an office in your backyard in addition to the home that you
Oh, yeah,
own, and you're debt free.
exactly, totally.
And
Yeah,
how many kids do you have?
I have debt from school. I'm not completely. Me and my
Yeah,
wife
yeah,
had,
still the mortgage, but yeah. How
but
many kids do you have?
four. I have four
You have
kids.
4. That sounds to me like the American dream.
Yeah,
People can still do it.
totally, 100%. 100%. And all the things that me and my wife and my family have been able to do. When I started tech sales, I had two kids, and for the fact that we wanted to have more a bigger family and more kids, but because I was in tech sales, I was able to have more kids as well and grow our
Yeah.
family and bring that stability. So yes, love it. And we're getting close to the 30 minutes. The time just flew by. If you're listening now, the last minutes, you have to go back, rewind, because Chris, he gave a one-on-one crash course here on how you can transition to tech sales. He gave multiple tips and ideas that we haven't even been able to dive deeper, but I was able to catch here and there because I am also trying to help people do the same. Uh, Chris, how can people find out more about you? You mentioned that is a YouTube training course like for free, and then people can sign up to your programs. How that works?
Yeah. So people can just find me on LinkedIn is probably the easiest. And right in my bio, you have the ability to like book time. There's a link. There's a hyperlink in my bio that lets you see our free YouTube course. It lets you book time. It lets you watch videos on our certification. All that kind of stuff is right there in my LinkedIn bio. Connect with me. Say hi if you'd like. Check out all the free. We produce so much free stuff. We also have a free job board that's like way better than LinkedIn. It has all of the best SDR, BDR jobs. We have a team of people that we've hired that's literally just keeping this BDR, SDR job board up to date, and it's free. So check out all that free content. Use it to get an amazing job in tech sales.
That's amazing. So I never heard of that one before. If you're looking to, transition to tech sales, you have to get a hold of that dashboard,
Yeah.
the job board, because that's saving you like, I'll say hundreds of hours. Let's just say
Yeah.
that. Really check it out. Thank you so much, Chris. I love the energy. I appreciate you making the time today. Hopefully, it will inspire people. Not hopefully, it will inspire people to take a leap of faith. And he came from the insurance, title, style industry, was able to transition to great organizations. And you can do the same. If I did, you can do it as well. So thank you so much. And I think that's all for today. Thanks so much, Chris.
Okay. Thanks, Dayvisson. Talk to you later.